the meantime, I told you about this not so fun survey if you're a Trump fan out of the Financial Times. It's not just the Financial Times, where just a look at business associations, trade associations that sort of, hawk their views and their interest on Capitol Hill. And by a 2-to-1 margin, they favor Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. What does that say if business, at least at this juncture, is more confident with Hillary Clinton, who the survey goes on to say, of whom they're not huge fans, that they just see her as the known entity? Well, this MIT professor who looked at this with us a short time ago isn't at all surprised. Take a look. What do you make of these concerns about Donald Trump?
If we get into a situation where one candidate from a major party, from the Republican Party no less, is making destabilizing statements about the debt, about money, and about what's going to happen to finance, that is not helpful to confidence. And that by itself, before the election results, that by itself can weigh on confidence and can slow down the economy. And yes, we could slip back into recession.
All right, my buddy Keith Fitz-Gerald was watching that, and he was going apoplectic. He's with us right now. Keith, you don't buy that this concern more to the point of Donald Trump and just fears of him taking office could rattle the markets and the economy?
No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. We're overdue for a recession anyway, so it really doesn't matter whose rear end is sitting in the White House. What it matters, and the statements that are so dangerous right now, are what is the establishment protecting? The irony here, Neil, is a dramatic one. Politicians have talked for years about how China and other things have manipulated this economy. Now you got a candidate, i.e. Trump, who's talking about doing something about it. I think you got to ask, why is the establishment scared, and which trade associations have the most to lose?
I mean, I raised this with Mr. Trump, and I think the first, maybe the second Fox Business presidential debate about tariffs on upwards of 45% on Chinese goods. As you and I know, average Americans pay those tariffs, not the companies involved or China. But the fear was that he would lead to a global trade war. Now, he dismissed the fact that he ever advocated for tariffs that high or tariffs at all. Be that as it may, it does add to confusion. Can you see the confusion being a legitimate concern?
Well, confusion is always a legitimate concern, but look at what CEOs are tasked with doing anyway, Neil. They're tasked with making profits no matter what. Trade associations are tasked with protecting their membership and their revenue rolls. Those are very different responsibilities, and I would go with a CEO over a trade association any day.
All right, so you're not concerned that Donald Trump, because he's a largely unknown commodity in this, I mean, a lot of people don't know his views, but he's more like a populist business guy. A lot of people assume that simply because he's a business guy, he's, as conservative as they come. A lot of business matters. He kind of will surprise you. So it's that surprise, that unknown element that has some of these leaders. Some of them were quoted saying, look, I'm not a big fan of Hillary Clinton, but I kind of know what I'm getting. What do you make of that?
I think now you're hitting on it, Neil, because what you're talking about, the devil you do know versus the devil you don't. The populism is so fed up with politics as usual that they're willing to go with the devil they don't, because anything could be better than the mess we're in now, and that's the establishment. And I think that's the interesting point here. To me, I know a lot of business leaders who are excited by the possibility of a Trump.
All right, we'll watch it closely. A good, fair, and balanced counter to that, Professor. Thank you, my friend.